Hello, and welcome to the Beautifully Human podcast. I'm Nick Sheesby. In this podcast, I speak with beautiful humans from all around the world, sharing with you their incredible stories, revealing the power in every human story, to spread love and humanity to a world that is in desperate need of it, to show that we can all connect in beautiful ways no matter where we come from or what we look like. What you will find out is that we are all beautifully human. Let's all be beautifully human. Books, how you
What's
doing, my
up, man?
brother? Dude, I'm so excited to have you on here.
Thank you. I'm excited to be on here. Oh, I miss you guys.
Man, I know it's funny to think that we could be sitting in our driveways side by,
Right? What the
socially
heck? Well,
distanced
not
from each
today.
other.
It's snowing, but
Yeah, it is snowing in Nashville today, but I feel like you and I would be all right out there.
I know. I was gonna say, I was like, just put on a snowsuit and hang out.
Yeah, we'll just bundle up. I mean, you're from Michigan, I'm from Ohio. I think we kind of been used to that.
Cold weather kids.
That's right. So it's snowing in Michigan as well?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's like I brought Nashville with me. The first week or 2 weeks that I was back, it was really nice out, and then this past week it got cold again.
Yeah. It's about that time of
Yeah.
year for it.
Yeah.
You
Exactly.
could be in like blizzard category already.
It's looking like a blizzard. I think we got like not an inch of snow yet, but
Okay.
we're supposed to get 3 to 7 inches over the next like day and a half.
Shit, all right. Yeah, it actually looks like real snow in Nashville. So I think people are probably
Nice.
freaking out.
Damn, dude.
Yeah. I don't know, it's not really sticking, but yeah, I think people will still be freaking out about it.
Oh, I mean, when are they not freaking out about snow in
Yeah,
Nashville?
that's true.
It's like,
So,
all the toilet paper's gone again.
oh yes, of course. Of course, of course. So speaking of our driveways, I put a note down here to bring this up when we were talking of
Okay.
your meditations in the front
Mm.
driveway.
Mhm.
Tell me about what were you listening to? What was your meditation routine?
So I would wake up, drink some coffee, and then I would sit out in the driveway, and my driveway faces downhill. It's slightly, but it faces downhill, and I would face out towards the sunrise for an hour every day, and I did it every day for a year straight, every day. And then after that, just I got super busy, and I couldn't do it every day, but I
Yeah.
still try to do it every other day or whenever I can. It's just a time to like breathe and think.
Yeah,
And then, even though you're not supposed to think when you meditate, it's 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 inevitable. It
totally.
happens, and you have to think your way past that.
Yep.
And then you just say, "All right," and then I get into a routine of I don't know. I get into the zone.
Yeah.
It's super healthy for me.
Absolutely. I mean, I remember there were times before I realized what you were doing that I'd be leaving our driveway to go for a walk, and I'd be like, "Books, yo!" And
And then you
you were,
just hear metal blasting in my ear.
yeah, and
Not
then,
all the time, but sometimes I would listen to some metal. I
yeah,
love metal.
man,
Sure.
it has always been a very, meditative music for me. It calms me down, which I
Hmm.
think so many people think it's the opposite, but it just
Right.
something about it is just so
I
soothing.
think it's being able to focus through the chaos that metal can be.
Totally.
That is why I really like it for meditation, because then I'm paying attention to the music instead of anything else. I'm not paying attention to my thoughts. I'm paying attention to what's going on. Like Periphery. I freaking love Periphery. And
Love
I've
those
listened to
guys.
it, and I listen to how complex it is. And I'll be like, damn, this is genius.
Yeah. Oh
It's
man,
so good.
watching those dudes play every day was nuts. I just don't even understand what their fingers and I just don't understand how they play. It's insane.
Man, that's a lifelong endeavor.
Yeah.
That's what that is.
Yeah.
When you're
Yeah.
that good, shoot.
Yeah. It's pretty wild, but yeah, man, that was one that I was like it was always always something I've wanted to get into is the more meditating, but like
Mm.
when I found out you were doing it and listening to metal while meditating, I was like, that sounds like a meditation I can do.
I mean, it wasn't always metal. I love music in general. So sometimes I'll listen to classical. Sometimes I'll listen to like electronic. Sometimes I'll listen to some pop mixed in there. And I'm just like, all right.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
it just helps me get in my zone.
I like it. And it's funny you say classical. I love driving to classical music, and I think
Ooh, nice.
it's fun because if a more upbeat classical song comes on, it can feel as if you're in a movie running away from something, it's like something's
you
chasing
use your
you.
minds to make the picture.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's so many correlations to metal and classical together. Like
There's like a statistic on that like I can't remember what the percentage was. It's like 60% of it's just crazy.
Yeah, it's
60% of people who are Mensa certified in the European Union prefer metal to any other type of music.
Oh wow,
which is insane. Out of all the types of music, and like
right.
60% of them like metal the best.
Yeah,
what?
Yeah. And it's funny too because, just from touring and stuff and working with metal bands, people always will come out and say, "Oh man, you're on a metal tour. It's got to be wild. It's got to be crazy, like fights and this and that." And I'm always going, "No, man, it's the easiest crowds to deal with. They're the metalheads are the nicest people. They're, for the most part, they were the ones that might have gotten picked on in school or whatever, but they're just trying to be themselves and have a good time. And they like fast music and aggressive music. And, you get in a pit.
And I think a lot of that stems to childhood.
Totally. Absolutely. I mean, I remember the first time I started into punk rock before metal, but then my brother always listened to metal. And I remember the first time metal made sense to me. And it was just like one of those holy shit moments.
You open your eyes.
Oh my God, this is incredible.
You're just like, oh man, it makes sense to me.
All of a sudden it just went boom. Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's like getting punched in the face with a metalhead fist.
Yes, exactly. It was, I still remember it. It was the band Zayo. I don't know if you know Zayo.
I don't know Zayo. I need to check that out.
They were on Solid State Records. ZAO.
ZAO? Okay, cool.
Because we were only quote unquote allowed to listen to Christian music. So we started down into the Tooth and Nail and Solid State, which was part of Tooth and Nail Records, and that was who we found was like the MXPXs, and then I heard a band called Stretch Armstrong, and then Zayo, and that's what moved me into just loving metal. And then
it's a progression.
It is. I mean, it was like punk, and then Stretch Armstrong would be more what you would classify as like hardcore punk, and then I listened to Zayo, and it was just straight up metal, and it was amazing, and I loved it, and I've loved it ever since.
I need to check out some Zayo. That's my thing.
Yeah, I think you'd dig it. I'll send you some stuff. Yeah.
I'll just look it up right now. That way I don't forget.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Apple Music.
Also, one other thing that I was thinking about when I was thinking of thinking of when I was going to be talking to you was your 4-leaf clover findings and eatings.
Anyone can do it. It takes practice. It's like anything in life. I've always done it though. It was something I started doing when I was 7.
Oh wow.
Yeah, when my parents got divorced, I had a hard time dealing with it. So during recess, all the kids would be playing together, and I didn't want to sit with the kids. I was trying to process what was happening, and I would go find 4-leaf clovers, and then for some reason it stuck with me.
I love it.
Because I always eat them after I find them.
Right. And what did you just start doing that when you were 7 just to do it, or is there something behind it?
I started doing it just because I thought that maybe the luck would stay with me.
Okay.
And then it has, in a way. I mean, life gets tough for people, especially right now. Right now is a really hard time for people. People are roughing it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's beyond any time that I can think of that anybody
Yeah,
would have had to deal with, you know.
right. I mean, we're in the middle of a pandemic.
Yep.
Shit's crazy politically, and it's
Yeah.
just like, man,
It is a very tough time.
you just got to breathe your way through it.
Yeah. I mean,
It'll work itself out how it's supposed to.
definitely will. And I think there's progress. I think there's hope as we're rolling forward, you know. Hopefully.
Without hope, what is there?
Yeah. I mean, I wrote underneath the four-leaf clover part that I don't know if I told you this. I think I even sent you a message.
I didn't
but
think you were going to ask about that. That's awesome. Dude, I trained my eye how to see them.
Dude, I know you. I was amazed at how many you were finding, and then it's so rad.
There was a while when I was on like 2-a-days. I would sit out after I would meditate, and I would look for, I don't know, 2 minutes, and if there's not one, if I don't find one, that means there's not one there.
Yeah,
that's all I got to say about it.
Yeah, I think I texted you because when Lindsay and I, around my birthday in March, funny enough, of this year, I found 3 four-leaf clovers in one day. Like in one,
What?
yeah, like literally at this little overlook that we stopped at in Canada, and I was just like joking around saying, "Well, it's my birthday, which was March 13th. It's a funny date to come back at the end of this story." And I said, "I bet you I find a four-leaf clover today." And it was my 35th birthday on Friday the 13th. And I ended up finding 3 of them. So
luck of threes.
You would think, but March 13th was also the day that the world was locking itself down.
Shoot, man.
So it was kind of, I thought it was going to be a lucky day, but for a lot of people it was.
Was that when the tornado hit my job?
No, that was like 2 weeks after. That was when COVID, the shutdowns came through for everything with COVID. The first shutdowns was March 13th, which was my birthday. So I don't know if it was the bad luck of Friday the 13th and finding 3 four-leaf clovers, and but yeah, that was that day.
You can't blame it on yourself.
No, I would never. But it was ironic that it was Friday the 13th and the day that COVID, everyone went into lockdown for COVID.
Man, I forgot. When did the tornado hit?
The tornado was on I think it was like the 4th or 5th of March, because we were home.
Oh my God.
And it went through, and then we had tickets to fly to Colorado the day after. So we were just here for a day and flew out.
Did you see all the devastation that was in 5 Points?
Yeah, dude. It still, it's still shitty over there, in some parts. And
it's heartbreaking.
So heartbreaking. And it literally looked like a movie scene or a movie set that had just been blown up.
Yep.
Just rubble everywhere. And you worked over there. So I know you did a lot of work.
My job got destroyed by the tornado.
Yeah. So, in Nashville, that was even crazy. 2 weeks before COVID hit, the tornado hit. So it was the tornado that took everyone's jobs.
For me to move back home and be close to family.
Yeah.
Yeah, because after that, stuff started going downhill. And I was like, I can't, there's no way. I was at my mental limit.
Yeah.
And I was just like, and as much as I love all my friends that I've made here, but all the galleries are shut down, so art's not happening.
Nope.
I'm sure there's some stuff going on still, but those are people who are very well established.
Right.
And for me, I could sit there and work at it, but it's just, damn, dude.
Yeah.
I give my art away.
Right. Yes, I do know this.
Oh, yeah, shit.
I'm looking at a very amazing painting that you gave us right before you left.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I love that painting. What did I name that one? Akai? No, that wasn't Akai. Was it Akai?
I think so. It's sitting across the room, and I can't get over there.
No, oh, yeah.
But yes, it's
You're hooked to the machine, man.
that's right. Yeah, I'll when I post this podcast, I'll put up a photo of it and the one you
Oh,
did for
nice.
Lindsay in the kitchen as well. It's a pretty rad
Oh
one.
yeah, and then Lindsay's got the sheep one,
Yes, which is super
Wu
cool.
Tang Clan.
Woo. I didn't know that
Dude,
was what
that's
was
how much I
called.
love music. Plays a huge part in what I do as far as art goes.
Yeah.
It's inspiring, and you like. Lately, I've been listening to songs and be like, I've never heard this version, but it's the actual version, but I just wasn't paying that much attention.
Yeah.
It's like, oh crap.
Oh, that's pretty rad though. I mean, so I'm not an artist. So how do you use it in your art? Like what do you hear a song and then you get inspired and you start making your art with it, or how does that work?
Art is it's a very thought out process for me, and then I cut stencils, which takes up to 60 hours on some of them just for the layers,
Yeah, it's
and it
pretty
gives me time to
intensive.
think and meditate and learn about what I'm painting. Because sometimes I painted a piece of Joan of Arc, I didn't know a whole lot about Joan of Arc, and then when I was cutting all the stencils, I did a lot of learning about Joan of Arc, and I learned a ton, and I learned about the Crusades, and then that inspired my next piece, which was like the tall warrior,
Oh
the
yeah, that one
one
was
with the
incredible.
mace,
Yeah.
and then I found out who Godfrey of Bouillon was, and from the Crusades and stuff like that. I don't know. It's just it's an awesome way to learn for me.
I think it's amazing. I had no idea that you were doing that. And then I remember one day you telling me that, and I was just thinking, holy shit, that is so cool. Like, I remember you saying
I
you were
mean,
watching
to me,
documentaries and listening to
it's just like
podcasts.
what is life if you're not learning anything? Some people are content with which is fine, because I would love to be content, but I'm tortured. I'm tortured.
You're a tortured artist.
What's up?
You're a tortured artist.
Yep. It just comes with the territory.
Yeah, but I think that's a really beautiful way to do it, especially with how intensive your stenciling is to take the time to study and know what you're making art of, I think
Right.
that's really,
Exactly.
really cool.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Especially
Man, I
from
love
me
art. I
who,
haven't painted anything since April.
oh, wow.
Yeah, I did a couple. I was doing like some videos and stuff because I was all pumped up about it. And I was like, oh, we'll only be in quarantine for a month.
Right.
And then at the end of April, I was like, oh man, this isn't looking so hot.
Yeah, we're not getting out of this anytime soon.
Nope. Here we are, what, 9 months later?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's
Ugh.
just getting worse.
You got to see the light at the end of the tunnel. It'll
Absolutely.
come.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely will.
Yeah.
So another story, I guess it could be wrapped up into a couple of these questions. I remember one day you were sitting out back with Gergs, who's your awesome dog.
Dude, he's doing so much better now, by the way.
Awesome. I love hearing that. I miss him. I miss seeing him. I miss
He
seeing
misses
you.
you guys.
Oh man. I remember you telling me a story about when you had just gotten to Nashville. Just kind of, yeah, tell me the story of like you moving down here and your living situation.
Okay, so I moved down here to save my best friend, who is a musician, and but him and his girlfriend broke up, and he was like, I don't know, I might be homeless. I was like, no, dude. So he found a place, and we were staying with this guy who was a freaking psychopath, and like we were sleeping with knives under our pillows, and I lived in the Nations at that time, and the Nations
Jesus.
used to be scary,
Yeah.
and but I had enough, and I was like, man, I would rather live in my car. So that's what we did. We had our car immunity, and I lived in my car for a month, and I would walk all the way downtown from the library off of what road is that? It's in I can't remember the name of the library, but we would park there, and then I would walk from there to downtown, and I found a job. So I was walking, it's about 2 or 3 miles to get downtown every day. I was showering in the park and stuff under the water spigot.
Oh man.
And oh man, it's crazy. But that's what I had to do. That was part of it. Helped me grow as a human.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can only imagine as you're living in your car. I mean, you have to see some crazy shit, especially here.
Oh, dude, it was brutal too. It was summer, and it was super humid and super hot. And I wasn't used to that yet. And I was like, God.
Yeah, welcome to the South. It's fucking hot down here.
It is hot.
Oh my God, dude. Yeah, I can't even, like, there's just no escape at some points. I mean, and that's even like if you have a house and you're inside, and sometimes you feel even like AC's not competing with it. So I can't even imagine like sleeping.
Then you get the bill, and then you're like, oh man, fuck this.
Yeah. So I mean, sleeping in your car. I mean, Lindsay and I did it this summer, but it was a far different circumstance than
Surge is awesome.
Living in your car.
I had a 95 Camaro that I was sleeping in.
95 Camaro. I see. I didn't know that part.
I had red headlights on it. It was a cool car that I had. I can't remember. I bought it, and I named it Wild Side because I love Skid Row, and I was like, oh man, this is Wild Side.
Yeah, yeah.
And then it wasn't the easiest sleep, but it could have been worse. I could have been on the streets.
Right. Yeah, I was going to say.
When I really look back on it and I think about that time, I feel like I was happier.
Really?
Yeah, because I didn't have to worry about stuff.
Sure.
I was just like, get up, walk, go to work, come back. And that was before I really started painting really heavily. Like, I sold paintings to move to Nashville.
Okay.
And I think I had like $600.
Right.
Something like that. Oh yeah. And that's all I had. And I was like, all right, I'm going to do it. And I drove all the way down, and then I ended up living in my car.
Yeah. I mean, but also too, I mean, it kind of enabled you to make some money if you were working and living in a car. I mean, that's, you're not really spending much to live in a car.
Don and I got an apartment in Antioch. So I lived in Antioch for the first 3 years I was in Nashville.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, dude. That's so funny. It was a Camaro. I had no idea about that part. I knew the other part.
Side. I missed that car. I'm so bummed out. All the things I got rid of that. I got rid of my bass. I had a BC Rich NJ Series Beast, which is like the original bass.
Yeah.
And I had to pawn that off.
Oh damn. Yeah,
that's all right. Music. I love music, but it just wasn't for me. It's just, I don't know what it was. It just wasn't my path.
It's a tough path to be on, even if it is your path.
Well, especially here in Nashville.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, far more than I do about just arts in Nashville in general. Tell me a little bit about that, like how your experience was in art in Nashville.
Oh man, so I figured out how to do stencils because before I had moved, my friend Adam gave me a stencil, and then I saw Audie's stencils, and I saw some of the other TM guys' stencils. I was like, I need to figure out how to do this, so I looked it up. And then I figured out how to do it. And dude, I couldn't stop after that. And I did a show for Betsy Johnson and Women Rock for the Cure where I raised almost $10,000 for breast cancer.
So good.
And I did 8 paintings for them, and they auctioned all those off. And then come to find out, though, that the people that put on, because they asked me if I wanted any money. I was like, no, it's for a cause. And then come to find out, the promoters took like $8,000 of that money.
Yeah, dude. When you told me that, I was like, that is so fucked up.
Yeah.
Like you're doing something
really
for a cause.
Off from a lot of fundraisers, and I still did fundraisers after that, though. I did Little Buddies I don't know if I should be naming these people out.
That you don't have to.
And I did a painting of Ruby Amanfu that was awesome. It was super bright, it was super loud, but and she looked like Billie Holiday because my friend was a photographer, and so I did that painting, and it's awesome. And I donated that to them, and then I saw it online for like $300 or something. I was like, what the hell? What are they doing?
Wow.
And I think that was the last time I ever tried to do like a fundraiser or anything.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine being very put off by that.
Yeah, because it's not for a good cause, because it is, but humanity just bums me out sometimes. I think that's why I love metal so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just, a lot of people suck, man. A lot of people are only in it for themselves.
Yes, too many people are.
Yeah, too many people. Not everybody.
No.
There's good people like you and Lindsay and a lot of my friends.
And you.
But there's a lot of people that aren't.
Yeah, there's a lot of assholes out there, and hopefully we can get people to move past being assholes and loving each other again. I think we need a lot. I know we need a lot more of that in the world, and I think it'd be a much better place with that.
Agreed.
My peace and love mission. That's part of it, is making the assholes think about themselves being assholes and being
Dude,
like,
that would be a funny shirt. A shirt which is no, that would be gross. People wouldn't wear that. Just a butthole with a thought bubble above it. It's like, make those assholes think.
Yeah. It's pretty incredible though. Or
I would wear it, but that's me.
I mean, or same scenario with a butthole on there with a thought bubble, and it says, "Don't be me."
Don't be you, exactly.
Please don't be me. I think that'd be pretty incredible. There's people out there that would rock that shirt,
dude.
Especially with such a good,
especially in East Nashville.
Oh man, yeah. But like, sure, it's weird having a butthole on your shirt, but if it's for a good, if it's telling a good story,
people don't have to stare at
it. Just like you don't have to stare at it.
Exactly.
What was the craziest thing you saw during those times? Like as you were sleeping in your car and you were just kind of out, seeing the world from your car.
Yeah, I mean that was my first experience in the big city, honestly.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, I would see homeless people all the time. I found a bat once. That was cool.
An actual bat.
A baby bat. And I was on my way to work because I used to wake up and go to work at 4:30 in the frickin' morning.
Holy shit.
Oh, yeah.
Where were you working?
I found a bat. That was a cool story.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about the bat.
I never really experienced too much crazy stuff. I would hear gunshots all the time, but that's just hearing them. At least I wasn't getting shot at.
Yeah. Yeah. That changes the whole dynamic of a gunshot.
Exactly. That's called panic mode for me.
Yeah. Did you ever get fucked with by police or anything?
Nope.
No. Okay.
No.
That's nice too then. Surprising, but that's really nice.
Yeah. Well, dude, we were so low key. We wouldn't go to the parking lot to sleep until, I was going downtown to party a lot because that's all there was to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I would go. We would go, and I would sleep in my car at 11 midnight, something like that. And then wake up before the library opened, and then we'd get out of there, and I would be gone to work already. So
yeah, it's a good game plan.
Even though I was walking, but I would park my car somewhere where it wouldn't get fucked with. And, I would just walk to work. It was a lot of walking.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's quite a bit.
Yeah, it was the best shape I was ever in my life, though.
I was gonna say also that. Yeah. I mean, I remember, and it's ridiculous that I actually did this, but I remember I ran a half marathon with my brother, and I, didn't quote unquote train for it, but I walk a shit ton. And people would be like, dude, have you trained for this half marathon? And I was like, well, I walk like 10 miles a day. I mean, that was on
Right.
tour. When I'm off tour, I don't walk that much, but like I can. And so I was like, yeah, I'm totally good. And I mean, the half marathon kicked my ass, but I still
Oh, dude, a
finished.
half marathon?
I
It's
finished it
brutal.
though, and all I was doing was walking. Yeah, just go for it, man. Tell me the story. I know in your you had answered a couple of these questions and sent it to me, but I think this story deserves to be told by you. So yeah, tell me the story about that you were just telling me about.
Okay, so this was probably like 5 years ago, and I was at no, this is before Don moved. So this might have been 7 or 8 years ago. No, not eight, 7 years ago. And so I was over at Don's house, and this was over by Vanderbilt, and him and his girlfriend were in their little duplex, and me and my girlfriend showed up, and he was like, he couldn't. He was like, you want to smoke some weed? He's like, it's not really weed. I was like, yeah, I'm down. And so it was like that spice stuff,
Okay.
and so we smoked that, and I just like something was wrong. I knew because I was like, I don't know what's happening, and I felt like reality wasn't real, and I might have been having a panic attack, honestly, now that I think about it,
Could be, yeah.
because I've been doing a lot of thinking about it, and I was like, is this real? Is this real? Like, is this gonna last forever? And then
Right.
everyone else was fine except for me, and
Damn.
when I went into shock and started having seizures, and I started vomiting, and I like passed out, and
Holy shit.
then I stopped breathing, and then I wasn't breathing for like 3 minutes, and during those 3 minutes, I experienced infinity. Like I could see everybody somehow, even though my eyes were closed, but like it's hard to explain like the time
Yeah.
because time moves differently because like every split second, like I was experiencing everything that was happening to me with all my friends that were around me that were trying to get me to wake up, and I could see them,
Yeah.
but it didn't look like them. They sounded the same, all the sounds the same, but who they were was constantly changing,
Hmm.
and it was like experiencing infinity,
Wow.
and then so all of a sudden it went straight to black, and it was just faced with myself, and I was talking to me, but not me, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, you can puke one more time, and that's going to be it. You can start breathing again.
Holy
And I was
shit.
like, I'm done here.
Yeah.
And then I heard through it was like clear as day, I heard my girlfriend at the time saying, breathe, baby, breathe. And she rolled me on my side, and I puked out the rest of whatever I had eaten that day, and I started breathing again. It was just, I don't know, it was crazy.
Yeah, man. That is
But
very crazy. Holy shit. So when you said your friends were changing, were they like their
like who
faces
they were,
changing?
what they were wearing, the
Okay.
color of their skin, anything.
Wow.
They were just, it was like I experienced only moment in all realities that was the same.
Holy shit, man.
Yeah, it fucked me up, dude. And then I didn't start thinking about it for like a few years after that. Not until like 6 years ago when I moved to East Nashville. Dude, I had
Yeah. Man.
I don't know. I just started getting anxiety real bad.
Did it come from that experience, do you think? or just
It
life?
had to have.
Okay.
I don't think it's specifically that experience. Like, I've always been a fairly high-strung person, but not to the point where I was having panic attacks. Like, I was having panic attacks so bad. Ugh.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, close to death like that, it's understandable that that would bring on panic attacks.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
I
what
know,
happened to you?
dude. I mean, I was gonna say, I know when, like, the night that I was in the hospital, and I was told that I didn't know if tomorrow was coming. I vividly remember, I'm fully picturing it right now as I'm talking about it, but this hospital room, like, I was in this back corner in a hospital bed, and I had IVs and everything in me, and there was just medical equipment and all this shit, like, blocking, not blocking the path, but in the way of someone walking straight to me. They had to kind of go around it to get to me. And
Uh-huh.
dude, I remember I was looking straight across at the door to come in from the hallway, and my mom was asleep, or my dad was asleep, whoever was in there with me. And I mean, I couldn't fall asleep because I was like, if I go to sleep right now,
At
I
that
might
point, you're probably
have
trying
it.
to process, like, fuck.
I was just
Like,
trying not to fall asleep because I didn't know if I'd ever wake up. It was like, I can't
right.
go to sleep
You're coming to
if I'm
terms with it.
yeah, if I never wake up. I don't want to close my eyes. Like, I can beat this, right? But I mean, I remember vividly seeing figures just like not floating, but not really walking towards me. Just like, but like,
Right.
I mean, they were clear as day, just walking straight at me and walking straight through the medical equipment. Then I would kind of shake my head and they'd be gone, and I'd be looking at the normal room. But I mean, yeah, I feel like it was just, I mean, there's souls in the hospital, right? I mean,
Mm,
think of all the
yeah.
crazy shit that happens in hospitals. So of course there's souls wandering around there. So, in my mind, I was thinking they were coming to welcome me, to
Right.
whatever comes next. And luckily, I'm still here to talk about it. But man, it was fucking wild. And the scariest part was the guy next door. I never saw him or knew what was going on or what happened with him, but he was sitting there the whole night just screaming, like, no, 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 no. I mean, scary as shit.
What?
Scary as shit screams. Like, I mean, if you heard them just in a normal life, you'd be freaking out. But this is my first time ever in a hospital overnight or anything. I don't love hospitals in
Right.
general, but especially me
And they
being
just
in
told you
them.
that you might not make it to the next day,
Yeah,
and
because
then you hear someone freaking the fuck out.
yeah. And I'm seeing these figures walking
Oh,
towards
that just
me.
gave me nightmares.
Yeah, it's a thing of
I'll
nightmares,
have
dude.
nightmares tonight. I'm not sleeping right now.
You can call me in the middle of the night if you have nightmares. I'll talk with you.
I'm like, oh my god, no.
Nick. Yeah, dude, it was wild. I mean, it was one of those, as I was coming to
It's
grips with,
transformative.
yeah, coming to grips with maybe never living anymore or not
Right.
living anymore,
Oh,
and hearing that and seeing those figures come across. It was fucking wild, man. It makes you think, you come face to
because
face with it.
you
It's
know what I've been giving a lot of thought about?
what's that?
Religion
Oh yeah. How so?
and God, and if there is a God, because nobody. I don't. I'm not an atheist. I'm agnostic,
Yeah,
and I think about why we're here, and it's such a fucking miracle, dude.
absolutely.
Like, what the fuck, man? It gets to me. It makes me weep
Yeah,
because the fact that we're here, if God or no God, it's a fucking miracle.
absolutely. Yeah, the
And
fact that
for people to be shitty to each other, that's just humanity. This has been at war since the age of man,
absolutely.
and it's just why can't people get along? I don't know.
Yeah, dude. I mean, and what really pisses me off about a lot of it is people are using religion to be shitty to people.
Right,
And that makes no sense to me.
right,
None of it makes sense to me. Someone being shitty to someone makes no sense to me, but putting religion as the reason why you don't like someone because of the color of
It's
their
like, almost
skin,
like
or
religion is a scapegoat for people.
it is. It is. It's a massive scapegoat because,
Yeah.
you settle down, you settle in your life, and you know the one answer in life, and some people just stop and they say, well, I'm saving
What's up,
up
Mom?
for
Here,
heaven.
hold on.
Yeah, man, it's just I saw it so much in my hometown, in a small town, Ohio, and
Yeah.
it's
Oh
just really
man,
frustrating.
no.
It's frustrating to watch people saying that they have this hope and joy and this one true meaning in life, and then just really living something that doesn't say that at all. Like, not,
Right.
nothing about their life says that. Like, Sunday morning says that, Wednesday night says that you have this eternal hope, but then the rest of the time it's just like you're not talking to anybody else about it. You're not
Right.
making people
Dude,
feel
the last
good
time I
about.
went to church, I was dating Elizabeth, and she was the one who had been molested as a kid.
Right.
And but it's funny how I met her, because she came to look at my house because I went through all that roommate shit.
Right.
And I don't know, something about her. I was like, she's like, do you mind if I get your phone number? And even if I don't get the house, we can keep in contact. I was like, yeah. So I went to church with her, and dude, I sobbed. It's the first time I've been to church, and fuck, who knows?
Right.
My not really saw the unity that people had, and it made me sob. I was a blubbering baby inside a church.
Yeah.
But it was more about people coming together and loving each other, because I'm a man of science.
Yeah.
And I always will, because science has evidence.
Absolutely.
And but science is trying to figure out the same thing that humans are trying to figure out with religion, is why are we here? Nobody knows.
Right.
And you can't, people just use this is a chance.
Right. Well, I always think, people with religion have found this eternal hope, like I said, and so what just has always just not made sense to me is you have this hope, and what you're this is guiding your life to this afterlife, yet you're sitting there belittling people from other countries. You're not accepting of anyone who's gay, or anyone who's just
I don't get
something
that shit.
different than
what?
you.
I never had experience. Moving to Nashville really, thankfully, changed my perspective on life, because I didn't know a whole lot about that stuff. And then I came to Nashville, and like when I was in high school, we only had one African American, one black kid,
Right.
Marcus Lyons. It's so crazy that I remember his name.
Yeah.
And so I didn't know anything about that culture.
Right.
And then I moved to Nashville, and when my first job that I had, when I was living in my car, I worked with people who, a lot of them were I worked for a company, Demus's. You might have to bleep that. But they would hire a lot of ex-convicts.
Oh yeah.
But they were the coolest dudes I've ever known.
Right.
And I worked with them, and I saw how they were treated, and I was like, that's the person I don't want to be. The people that treats them like that.
Right. Yeah, it's pretty simple, man. And it's again, what frustrates me about religions is it's like you look at any of them across the board, if you study any of them, and it starts off with love and acceptance, right? Love and acceptance is what they all start out with. And then they get all fucked up by man.
It gets touched by the hands of man.
Yeah, and it gets all misconstrued and turned into this weapon that, if you talk to, I'd be shocked to think, I've talked to a ton of people that have had terrible experiences with it. It's not shocking to find someone, if you start talking about religion, there's some form of trauma in there.
Right.
You know, whether they weren't accepted or their friend wasn't, or they saw how, you know, how their parents were.
Right.
I mean,
oh man,
you just,
my grandpa. I never got along with my grandpa because he told my mom we were gonna go to hell because we didn't want to go to church.
yeah. I mean, yeah. And I wish I was shocked by that. You know, I wish that was a story where I was like, man, really? But that doesn't surprise me, you know?
You know what the real thing is for anybody is forgiveness.
Right. That too. I don't know. I don't understand where that one got lost. That's a massive principle in most religions.
Right.
Yet that is something that's thrown out the window very quickly, I would say.
Right. Because people fucking suck, dude. No, I'm kidding.
Some do. Some do.
I know. It's fucked up. I think about it a lot.
Yeah.
I think about the situation that I'm in and why I'm here. And I'm like, well, and what I do with art. And I'm like, people who's, you know what ruined a lot of people? Money and power.
Yep.
What do they say with absolute power causes, not corruption, absolutely. Oh, you and I talked about this. Shit. Absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. It totally does. I mean, you give someone money and power, I mean, it's going to change them no matter what they say when they start off. I mean, it changes people.
Dude, that's why people like Gandhi and I want to move to freaking Mongolia and be a monk. That's what I want to do.
Dude, I could see you doing that.
I think it's cold here. Wait till I get to Mongolia.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
done, bud.
Yeah.
But it would change. It changes. It would change who I am.
Totally.
Yeah.
Absolutely would.
Yeah. Ever since I started meditating, I was like, man, I want to move to Mongolia one of these days. It might happen. It might not.
Yeah.
But it makes me think about my life and other people's lives and why we're here. And I think about all kinds of shit when I'm meditating.
Yeah, I mean, if I were to venture a guess of why you're here, it's to inspire people with your beautiful art and to make people smile and laugh because you're just such a fucking
That's what life is
fantastic
all about,
person, man.
We're supposed to be happy. We're not supposed to be rats racing around a track.
No, not at all. But I'm just saying, I mean, that's what you do for me. You make me smile. Like every time I talk to you, every time I'd see you at your house when you lived beside us, man, it just brought me massive joy.
Thank you. And same to you. Dude, I love seeing you guys.
Yeah.
I love talking to you. I'm talking to you right now. I'm pumped about it.
Yeah, me too, dude. When I started into the podcast, I was like, Book's for sure gonna talk to Books on this thing.
Oh, for sure, I'm gonna do it. You know this.
Yes. Oh, so it just popped into my head. I'm gonna go to another question of
okay.
It might not have been your first tattoo, but we were talking about a funny tattoo that you got from a friend of mine.
Oh, Sully.
Yeah.
Sullivan Waldrop. I'm gonna give him a shout out.
Yeah, Sully. I'm gonna try and talk to him as well because he'd be a fun one.
Nice, dude. Oh, his interview would be amazing.
Yes. So yeah, what was your first tattoo?
My first tattoo, the first tattoo I ever got was I have the Black Label flame on my back.
Okay.
That was the first tattoo I ever got.
How old were you?
And then I started building tattoo machines with Brandon, and I just got filled up.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, it's easy to have it happen that way. You get one and you just start rolling.
And thank God for him because I have a lot of great artwork that I've gotten for free.
Oh, that's so nice. I've always wanted that.
I'm
always
really
jealous.
lucky with that.
I'm always jealous of friends who are like, dude, I got a tattoo artist friend and they just filled me up, and I'm like, son of a bitch. I need that.
Damn you.
I don't mind paying for them, but
no, I'm gonna have to get used to it again at some point.
Yeah,
I haven't been tattooed in 6 years.
Damn, dude, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the last one I got was like a swordfish on my back shoulder blade or something.
Nice. I love it. Man, dude, I could sit and talk about tattoos for days.
I know, me too. Everyone always asks me because I'm an artist. They're like, why don't you do tattoos? And I was like, I respect the art form. I
Yeah.
don't think I would be a good tattoo artist,
And that's
honestly.
fair.
I mean, I would, but I would only want to do it if I love doing it.
Right.
I love getting tattoos, but when it turns into a job, it changes your perspective on it.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's I mean, sure you can get them removed, but it's a very permanent form of art.
Yes. Yes.
On someone else that they're wearing forever.
Right.
So that's why I
It
do
has to be perfect.
I do understand, when I get tattoos and people go, it's forever, right? I'm like, I do. And I've
Yeah,
seen really
that's why I got it,
shitty
you dummy.
tattoos.
That's what I would. I would never say that to somebody, but oh man.
But I get it.
That's like,
I've seen really shitty ones and I'm cringing for the person that's wearing that for the rest of their life.
oh, dude, my favorite tattoos are the shittier ones. The one Sully did of the butt head.
Dude, I do love that one. That one makes me so happy.
And then the one of my brother's on my leg that was from a drawing that he did when he was all drunk right before he hit sobriety. It says 3 best brothers ever. That's my favorite tattoo.
Oh, that's amazing. I didn't even know about that one.
And it's so funny because you can totally tell who each of us is in these like crude drawings. It's awesome.
Oh, that's fantastic. I love that one. I mean, one of my favorite ones is one I have for a story of my brother and I, and it says, "You're not going to," and then it has the Dairy Queen logo on my foot.
Nice, dude.
Because there's a story when my brother were a little under 11 months apart. So in March, when I turned 36, he's 36 for a month and 10 days. So
okay.
I was just what I was supposed to be as a little brother. I was just a big shithead, and I would annoy him and annoying him. I would be a little brother. And there was this moment when my mom called me and said, "Hey, Nick, go get your brother. We're going to go to Dairy Queen." And we were probably about 7 or 8, whatever. And there was this big window in our house that went from our dining room to our front porch. And my brother, Nate, was out on the front porch and I was inside. And she said, "Go get your brother." And I said, "All right." And I started knocking on the window and I said, "Hey, Nate, we're going to Dairy Queen, but you're not going to Dairy Queen." And I started taunting him, just like, "You're not going to Dairy Queen." And he got so mad as this young child that he tried to punch me, and he knocked out every single part of the glass. And
through the window?
Oh yeah, he was so pissed off that, he punched through the window, and, it was one of those moments where I instantly went, "Mom," as if it was not my fault. And then, it was one of those moments also that I feel like my dad just like rose up from the floor to whoop my ass moments, and yeah, so it was just really hilarious going forward. And so that's what I have on my foot.
Nice. What? I need, next time I'm in Nashville, I got to see that.
Yeah. I mean, and it's not a great one either, but it's one of my favorites.
Nice.
All right. So I'm going to do 2 more questions and then we'll close this out, dude. So what would you want the world to know about you, Books?
About me?
About you.
I'm just a regular motherfucker.
I love that. You're one of my favorites.
People, this is why I'm not the greatest with art, is because I have maybe too much humility. But everybody needs some humility. But I can be self-deprecating sometimes. But I mean, at the end of the day, I'm just a human, just like anyone else.
Yep.
And art just happens to be what I'm good at.
Very good at.
I don't know. And the only reason I'm good at it is because I work my ass off at it.
Yeah. Yeah, you put in, I mean, just watching those videos you made of you cutting stencils. Oh, my Lord. It's wild.
Yeah. Man, I need to throw together. So I have my GoPro. I need to start doing some more time lapses.
Yeah, please do, man. They're pretty amazing.
I'm on a little sabbatical
Yeah.
so far. This year has been not the best year for anybody.
No.
So
I totally understand, man. We got to
yeah,
get through it how we get through
that's
it.
what I needed, though. I mean, dude, I went so hard for 10 years, almost 11 years,
Yeah.
that it's just, I was just like, man, I need to take a break for a minute.
Yep. All right. And this one, we'll end with this one. How about if you had the ear of everybody in the world, what would you say to them? Parting wisdom.
To just be kind to each other. You catch a lot more flies with honey than you do with vinegar.
Yeah, that's very true. And we all need a lot more of that. Every single one of us.
We need all the honey.
We need all the honey. And we need all the love. And we need all the peace and the kindness.
Yep. People need to respect each other and love each other. And then if you don't get somebody, you don't dismiss them right away, but take the time to try and understand their situation and walk a mile in their shoes.
Right. Yeah. It'll tell you a lot about someone if you take the time to get to know them.
Exactly.
It's a beautiful thing.
Because not everybody has had the easiest life or the same life as you.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we can all learn from anyone else's experiences, anyone else's life experience, you know. Everyone's story has power, you know.
Right.
Every single one, you know, and you might not know where you give that power or what that would even look like, but you know, when you put yourself out there and you start to learn about people or you tell your own story, you know, you find out where you can give people strength.
Right.
And that's beautiful. That's what we're here for, man. That's
Oh yeah, if we were meant to be here alone, we would be.
Right.
And we're not.
Or we wouldn't be social creatures that, you know, need human interaction.
Right. We learn from each other.
Yeah. We have to. We have to grow from each other, you know, like
yeah,
we wouldn't make, you know, it wouldn't make sense or I guess it would make sense in a completely different way if we weren't supposed to be, you know, learning from each other. We just wouldn't have any interaction with people as people.
Yeah.
Well, Books, man, this has been so rad. I just love.
Thank you. This has been amazing, dude. I can't wait to talk to you again.
Dude, yeah.
My youngest brother just tried to call me, though. I got to call him back.
Yeah, no worries, brother. Well, I will talk to you soon. And seriously, man, thanks for jumping on here with me. This has been super rad.
Thank you for having me on. I love you, man.
I love you too, brother. Thank you for listening to the Beautifully Human podcast. To hear more beautiful stories from beautiful humans, follow us on Spotify and rate and subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts. Follow us on Instagram @WanderlessMoonDuo. Peace signs up.